In today's video, I'm going to show you 5 DeFi protocols that are bringing in real money today. Welcome back to Dynamo DeFi. My name is Patrick. Reminder that nothing in this video is financial advice, and just because I talk about a protocol today doesn't necessarily mean it's a good investment or good for your portfolio. Now let's get into it. To start, a quick framework for which protocols I'm going to include in my list today. Remember, I'm talking about 5 protocols. So the first criteria is it has to have relatively high fees compared to its market cap. So there's lots of protocols that have some form of fees or revenue, but it's got to be fairly high compared to its market cap to be included in the list today. Second, it has to pass on those fees in some form to token holders. That could be allowing you to stake the token for a share of fees, or it could be a buyback, but we're not looking for protocols that are bringing in all this money and then leaving token holders out in the cold. And then third, the fees for that protocol has to at least be holding steady recently. Some of them are going up, and that's even better, but it has to at least be holding steady, not looking for protocols that were generating fees a month or two ago, and then today they're not really generating anything. We're looking for growth here. All right, so let's get started then. The tool we're going to use today to find protocols with high fees, well, I already found them, but the tool that we're going to use in this video is DefiLlama. Great website for researching anything crypto related, and protocols that generate real revenue is no exception. So over here on the left, we have fees/revenue. There's a simple dashboard, and then there's an advanced dashboard. And in this one, you could do 24 hours, 7 day, 30 days, or 1 year. I used 30 days for finding these protocols. Then over here on the right, you have 2 columns that are very interesting. You have market cap over annualized fees, and you have market cap over annualized revenue. Both are instructive in their own ways. But basically what these are is it takes the market cap of the protocol and then looks at the recent fees, I believe over 30 days, spreads those out over a year and looks at what the market cap is compared to that. For example, you have something like Aerodrome, which is the first protocol we'll talk about today, where the market cap is roughly 10x the fees recently, if the fees were annualized, and the revenue and fees are the same on Aerodrome, which is why these numbers are the same. For other numbers, like for example Lido here, you can see that the market cap is only a little bit higher than fees. However, it's significantly higher than revenue. And if you're sitting there saying, okay, what's the difference? Basically, fees, as far as crypto and DefiLlama and most other sites are concerned, fees are going to be everything the protocol collects. So anything you as a user are paying to use the protocol. It could be interest, could be swap fees, could be anything else. Revenue is what actually goes back to the protocol. So it goes to token holders, goes to the treasury, etc. In general, a huge portion of fees on many protocols, like Uniswap, for example, they're not going to go to the token holder. They're going to go to people who are providing liquidity. They're going to go to people who are lenders. You know, it's DeFi, it's peer-to-peer. But we want things with high revenue today. All right, so let's take a look at some protocols. The first one is Aerodrome. So Aerodrome is the leading decentralized exchange on Base. That's Coinbase's network. It's an Ethereum layer 2. And we can see that, well, discount October because we're only a couple days in, but we can see that it's mostly been growing. September was a slight drop from August, but is still hugely up from earlier this year. And in fact, this last week was actually the best week in months. So it has an uptrend in recent weeks. And it's got pretty serious fees and revenue. We can see here on a typical week, it's bringing in over $1 million in revenue. Its last week that was under $1 million was a couple months ago. So that's Aerodrome. Again, it's the leading decentralized exchange on Base, and here you can actually lock your Aero tokens, and you have to lock them up for a certain amount of time. The longer you lock it up, the more rewards you get, but you can lock it up, and then you're going to get your share of those protocol fees. On Aerodrome, it's a little more complicated because it's what's known as a V3 DEX, where the fees you earn are based on which pools you vote to incentivize. However, they are ultimately passing on those fees to token holders. So Aerodrome is the first one today. The second protocol is BananaGun. BananaGun is a bot. It's on ETH and Solana. It's mainly a Telegram bot. And so they have got a lot of useful tools to help you trade on Ethereum, Solana, Base, and Blast. And so it lets you do things, for example, like sniping, limit orders, copy trading wallets, secure swaps that are MEV resistant, safeguarded against sandwich attacks, or front running. It has very fast execution, anti-rug protection. So they've got one of the top performing, according to their website, but one of the top performing anti-rug systems with an 85% success rate, and scam and honeypot protection. So I've made videos on this channel showing you how to check if a meme coin is a honeypot yourself, but Banana is going to do a lot of that for you. And we've seen over the past year that people tend to be willing to pay for these sorts of tools. And if we look here on Bananagon, the whole market has slowed down from the mania earlier this year, but in recent weeks, it has seen a resurgence. And if you sort of look at this over the past year, it has the normal volatility you would see in crypto, but it's been on a steady uptrend. And then even now, it's not quite as high as Aerodrome, but it's bringing in close to $1 million most weeks, or at least $400,000 to $500,000, which is pretty substantial. And Bananagon, it's actually even easier than Aerodrome to earn yield, provided you have at least 50 tokens. You need at least 50 Banana tokens to start earning yield, and then they're going to pass on a share of that revenue to you. Next up, DEX tools. So DEX tools, and I think notice a pattern here, right? Everything we've talked about so far, Aerodrome, Bananagon, DEX tools, these are all picks and shovels. These are picks and shovels for the meme coin economy, right? There's been a huge trend towards people trading meme coins, towards trading that sort of thing this year. And all of these tools that have this really high revenue compared to their market cap, they're providing the tools for people to do that, right? They're not necessarily claiming to be that meme coin themselves, but they're saying, okay, other people do that. We are going to sell them the picks and shovels in the gold rush. And so DEX tools is interesting here. Let's take a look at their application. It's all sorts of different tools related to DEXs. So you can explore pairs, you can look at new pairs live, you can create tokens on here. It's a whole suite of tools for people that are using DEXs, whether that's as a token creator or as a trader. However, unlike most tools like this, DEX tools has a token, the DEXed token. So it's a utility token, which people need to access all features of the website. However, it's also deflationary because they allocate some of their revenue towards buying back the DEXed token. And if you look over here on DefiLlama, you can see that in a typical week, it's bringing in $200,000 to $300,000 in revenue. And this has been steady for a couple months now. And to put that in perspective, the current market cap of DEX tools is around $45 million, with most of those tokens already in circulation. And so all-time fees are around $2 million, but it's a pretty good trend for a token with a relatively low market cap, only rank 703 right now. Fourth protocol today is Beefy. So Beefy is, I would call it, the premier yield aggregator. It's certainly one of the premier yield aggregators, one of the best places to find yield in crypto, one of the best places to deposit into crypto to earn yield. They've got over 1,000 pools in here, phenomenal filters. Just recently made a video about how to use Beefy in depth. However, Beefy also has a token, the Beefy token, but spelled like with an I, B-I-F-I. And market cap is only around 22.7 million right now. And in a typical week, Beefy is bringing in around $50,000 to $100,000 in revenue. You can look at the Beefy pool on Beefy, so it makes sense, right? If you're staking your Beefy, you do it through the website. And the current APR is around 12.78%. And if you look back historically, that yield has been pretty consistently over 10% for a while now. There was maybe a week or two where it wasn't, but for about 7 months, it's been that high. And then the fifth and final protocol that I'm going to talk about today is known as Linux. Linux is over on the Linea network. And one thing that's interesting about Linux is that it's the only protocol I'm talking about today that actually has a market cap lower than its annualized fees. And I suspect part of the reason for that is that there is some risk with Linea where many people are farming a potential future Linea airdrop right now, and it's unknown how much of that activity is going to stay when that airdrop eventually happens. However, in the meantime, it is generating around $50,000 to $100,000 in revenue every single week, with a market cap of under $3 million, but a fully diluted valuation of around $12 million. So some of the risk is also that, unlike most of the protocols I've talked about today, Linea actually has a good amount of future dilution to come. But let's look at the protocol itself, right? What exactly is this? So it's one of the top decentralized exchanges over on Linea, and it's very similar to Aerodrome, right? They're both what's known as V3 dexes. They're ultimately forks of a protocol known as Solidly. And so like Aerodrome, you can lock your tokens and you earn a share of fees for doing that. So you lock your links tokens into V links. You vote on your favorite pools and then you receive bribes and trading fees. By the way, if you want to learn more about how to do this sort of fundamentals-based crypto research on your own, check out my newsletter, dynamodefi.substack.com. Every week I send out tools and tips to do your own research, and I have something I call the On-Chain Academy, which is a resource for premium subscribers, over 3 hours of exclusive content that shows you how to do things like on-chain analysis, how to use tools like DefiLlama and Artemis in great detail, how to analyze data for cryptos, and how to use metrics to find new tokens. Let me know in the comments if you think revenue is a good metric to evaluate DeFi projects on. For more videos like this, like and subscribe, and until next time, this is Dynamo DeFi.